get that effect. It's like out of 10, out of 3 or 4 out of 10 times you can be productive. Like 6, well, that's a very, I don't know. I'm not, yeah. I'm not gonna comment on it. Well, 4 out of 10 times you can be productive. Sometimes it feels like 4 out of 10 when you can be productive on your phone, but 6 out of 10 times you are just slipping into bad habits. So yeah, most of the time you're not going to be productive. It's like, so most of the time it's hard to be productive on your phone. You just end up slipping. So yeah, here's another thing which makes spending your time, which makes time go by really fast on your phone, which is the fact that you bound from one addiction to another. What you do is, when I say you, I'm just talking about myself. So what you do is you kind of just go on your phone and you spend like maybe like 20-15 minutes on the on YouTube shorts. Then you will like spend a bunch of minutes on like a productive YouTube video, maybe by Dr. K or someone else, Dr. K or maybe someone else. And then like you will go on Instagram reels, and then you can like go back to YouTube shorts, then maybe go back to watching a productive video. So like the little bit of like you watching a productive video in between these, and like these little in between productive things that you do kind of like makes you, it's like, your brain is kind of like really bad at um figuring out how much of the time you spend on unproductive stuff versus how much you spend on the productive stuff. It's because you're mixing in the unproductive stuff with the productive. So it's like you do 15 minutes of unproductive, you 10 minutes, 5 minutes of productive, 20 minutes of unproductive again. But since it's like all mixed up, and you're like doing like 30 seconds of productive again, it just it just makes you kind of like justify it in your head. It's just because your brain is kind of like bad at calculating that, dude. You're just like you just now you're not doing shit. You're just like wasting time. But the fact that it's like set up that way can make it hard, right? Like I usually talk about how you go with the intention of doing something productive. You would like do those productive habits somewhat in between. Like you do them for like 30 seconds every bunch of every like few minutes, every couple of uh, minutes or something. Like maybe like every like 20-30 minutes, and that maybe like less than that. But and that would justify all the, like, if we were to like remove take all of the productive stuff and remove all the unproductive stuff. Productive stuff would be like at best like 15 minutes. Unproductive stuff would be like 5 hours, 4 hours. Like so like, but that 30 minutes mixed in between that with that 5 or 4 hours makes the 4 hours somewhat justifiable in your head. But the fact that you kind of also know you didn't do enough of the productive makes you kind of still look for an answer. It's like such a weird thing going on in your head. Where it's just like, wait, like, should I trust my brain or not? It's like because generally it feels like your brain is like looking for an answer to fix all this stuff. But it also sometimes it feels like it doesn't. It's just sometimes it feels like it's just trying to trick you. And it's kind of hard to decide which one is it. Really give the specific example. Like I should have given the example of how it actually goes instead of like kind of saying I do productive for 15 minutes and do unproductive. It's more like I watch YouTube short for like 15 minutes, then I watch like a productive YouTube video for like 30 seconds, and then I go back to scrolling YouTube, and then maybe a trendy unproductive YouTube video for like 5 minutes. Give like the exact what exactly what happens, so just I guess it can make it easier to, I don't know. Yeah, it can make it easier to understand. Yeah. So I'm done complaining. I'm gonna give some solutions or like some things that I'm trying out, which have helped me, something that I'm trying out and that I will try out, which have worked for me and which could work for me. So yeah. So here's what I have in mind. My goal with my phone, my goal is I want to increase as much productive time on my phone as possible and have as little unproductive time as possible on my phone. And to do that, I have here's what I have done. Here's what I did. I went to, on my phone. There's like this thing which tells me my screen time and how much time I spent on a specific app. And most of the time, the most amount of time, which was my time, was being spent on YouTube. So I took it. I had this. There was this app called ScreenZen, and I downloaded that app, and I kind of like select and I set things in a way where every time I go on YouTube, I like every time I click on that icon, I gotta like wait for like 45 seconds. Usually, it's, by default, it's like that to like 15 seconds. Like you have to wait for like 15 seconds, and you have to really have to like consciously like make an effort to think whether like do you really want to go on there, or are you just like making this choice out of impulsivity, and then you just don't want to do use it. But usually when you add this video, you just wouldn't want to use YouTube anymore. But then so that's just not it, because like YouTube can be very helpful for us, and we have to we have to like use it for the productive reasons also. So how do you use the YouTube without doing the unproductive without the unproductive stuff? Here's what I've done. I download like bunch of browsers. I have Brave, I have Chrome, I have Opera, and what I've done is I've downloaded a bunch of browsers, and then, so here's what I do. I would go on. So let's say I what I do is I would go on Brave. I would go on the YouTube site on the Brave browser, and I would make the intention in my heart that I will not use this to be I will not be unproductive on this specific app. I would try to associate and act very intentionally. Like of course now you can be a little bit like relaxed and stuff and just but like you still gotta like kind of be on the lookout and kind of be alert. You know, I would try to be very alert. I would try to be a little alert on the browser, and I would try my best to be productive. Like and here's a little bit more like a deeper look into it. I would go on the page. I would like either look up the video that I want to watch or the YouTube channel that I want to go on, and then I would like open the video in a new tab. Then I'll like scroll a little bit more, and then I'll look for the second video that if there's any other videos I want to watch, I would open that in a different tab, and then you kind of do the same for like bunch of videos. I do them for like 3 or 4 videos, and then I like go watch the video number one, and I will make sure I will like open the description. I like scroll the description, but I will not go on the recommendation. Well, of course, sometimes I can if I'm like really looking for something new, but I will try to be careful. But I try to be just scroll on the description, but not on the recommendation. Of course, I do that at times, but most of it I'm just like scrolling on the description and just listening to the YouTube video. Then if I'm like if I my attention span is giving up, I want to like watch something else. I will go on the one of the other videos which has really caught my attention. Like the video from the video from earlier which really caught my attention, which I opened in a new tab. I would like watch one of those videos. I like do that, and then I like stop, and and then this is for like productive YouTube purposes, right? This is for like educational stuff. So, but sometimes I want to relax a little bit. I want to watch like a trendy stuff. And by the way, one important detail: I do not scroll on YouTube Shorts on these platforms. I have told myself I will not try. I will try my best to not scroll on YouTube Short on the Brave browser. And of course, sometimes I do need to do that, but I would really like stay away from it. Most of the time I do not scroll on the app on Shorts on these apps. Then I will go on the Chrome. So yeah, I was probably talking about how sometimes I want to relax and stuff. But what I would do is like I would go on the Chrome browser, and I would like open up the YouTube site over there, and then I would just watch what. Well, I most of the time just like listening to YouTube. I'm not doing anything unproductive. Sometimes I do, but like most of the time I'm just listening to music on Chrome. So like I've associated Chrome with music. I've associated Brave with um productive, and the main YouTube app I've really associated with like just like really like discussing dirt.
Also, I feel like a lot of time people get caught up in these apps. Of course, they're like addicting and stuff. But I feel like a lot of them people get caught up in these apps because they don't have a life that they enjoy living, so they kind of like try to create that online. And for some people, it's like it's needed because they're like not in a good place, or maybe they should stay on these platforms. Anyways, yeah, these sites can be helpful, but you have to learn to make them helpful. Like these, you can also like slip on them. I really want to like I really want to like put some emphasis and weight on the do not scroll on YouTube Shorts in these platforms. Of course, if you really have to have a specific app where you can use it, like maybe use it on Chrome and don't use it on the productive Brave browser, but like still like really consider not using YouTube Shorts at all. Just watch long form content. It's just better for you. Another thing is that if you just watch it, another thing is that if you just watch one YouTube video and don't even like go to other videos, or like just watch one video and don't even hop from one habit to another, your brain does not go in the brain dead mode. It just stays in, like it stays alive. It stays like it's still working, instead of like going in that habit that you've built of like going brain dead and just scrolling. Just if you can, if you should like do that if you can, if that's also a very helpful potential solution. Also, if you have Instagram for whatever reason and you just can't delete it, you just can't delete Instagram, and you really want to use, you really want need to have it on your phone, or you just want to have it on your phone by choice. I don't recommend it, but like if ever you should, there's a version of Instagram online which kind of like remove all the reels, and on the recommendation page. The only thing left is that if you go on someone's profile, then you can see their posts and their reels. Rather than that, you're like very clear. But yeah, so you should really look up this version of Instagram if you want a better productive version of Instagram. Yeah. And if you're someone who's serious about getting your screen time down, you should really just like check your screen time every day and just compare it and just think about it. Because like, I feel like that can help and help you kind of be a little bit more aware about it, and make it try you be a little bit more intentional with your phone, and try to like turn it into a game where you kind of go make it go down. Also, having habits where you try making habit where you go out, spend a while in the real life, stay away from your phone, can also help a lot. Like it helps a lot. Like it has helped me a lot. Most of them, a lot of them, when I go out, when I'm busy because of some work, and I have to go out for whatever reason, and I don't have my phone. Those are the day when I have the least screen time. Of course it's obvious, but like if you can find things to do in real life, then you can really get your screen time. But like, the problem is that there are like so many important things. There are so much value on YouTube and things like this. Like it's like there are so many good educators and stuff like that on YouTube and on your phone that you can just can't afford to not be on it. But just that there's so much you can easily like slip into the bad side of YouTube, like unproductive doom scrolling sessions on YouTube. So that's just yeah. Also, like trying to make productive habits on YouTube can on your phone can help. Like for example, instead of like going on YouTube or doing something unproductive, maybe you can just go and read a Substack article or whatever, or like finding alternatives to the unproductive things that you're doing on your phone can be helpful. And just trying to do as much of those productive habits can help. Of course, it's gonna be a bit tricky and it's gonna be a bit hard to find the productive habits for you, but you should still try. It's gonna take a bit of trial and error, but like you should try. And I've experimented with like completely removing YouTube and phone. It doesn't work out. It's just I don't know if it's possible to. I don't know if it's possible in this day and age, but like maybe it can work for you. I don't know. And like Dr. Cage spoke about this, where he talked about like people who are Vata type, they can get really lost in things, and if they can use some sort of thing that which can keep them in boundaries, like some sort of like rails or like boundary which can help you stay in limits. Filter restrictions can be helpful. So like I downloaded this app which creates bubble timer on your phone, like really small bubble timer, and I create it and then I keep it on the side of my screen, and then I go in an app and I start the timer.